Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Kenny. Now, when I say good morning, it is a good morning. I'm telling you, today I'm not going to be doing my usual thing, but to me, this is usual. This is the norm for me. I've got to replace the brakes on the back of my old Xterra. Now, I'm talking about I've got to replace the drums. I've already got the wheels off. I'm going to replace the drums. It's going to be 90 degrees today, and I've got to do it early, so that's why I'm doing it early in the morning. I've got to replace the drums and the brake pads. Plus, this thing has got its original shocks on it, so those have got to go. Now, I paid a little visit to Amazon, and I've got what I need, and I've got to put new shocks on this thing, new brakes. So you hang around and we're going to get it done. And it's going to be warm, so I'm going to take my time. And listen, this is a DIY project that I do myself. Taking it to the garage is not an option. Why? Because I'm on a budget and you've got to save money. So let's get to work. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take the brakes off of this thing, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put take the shocks off of it. I'm going to give you a clear shot of this, folks. All right, I have already got these broke, so I am taking them off. These are a 9/16 socket. See there? How easy that is. It slips out. And the other one, I've got it broke. Now, I've got both of those out. And I'm going to put those right here where I simply won't lose them. Now this caliper, let me get my hammer. I may have to take out that bleed screw, which most likely I will. I'll take and loose that bleed screw. Most people, when they start doing a project like this, they're overwhelmed with what they think is one of the biggest jobs that they could possibly ever do to a vehicle. Let me give you a tip. Don't look at this as being a massive job. It's basically just a matter of knowing what you're doing before you start. It's easy to get overwhelmed with a project like this. It's not to me, because I've done it so many times. Just relax and look at it. It's not near as bad as it looks. Most of the time, a job like this or any other job, it's not near as bad or complicated as you might think as it looks. It's not. So let me get my hammer and we're going to get this off. Okay, folks. I have got this first one off. So I've got all of it off. This drum, as much as you may not believe it, this is the original drum that came on this truck. This is the first time that I've had this part off to remove the drum. And let me tell you, it was not easy. So let's get the drum off. Now, we are ready to put, got to get the brakes off, of course. Look at this drum. I noticed a squeak in it not too long ago, and I could tell that it was worn. And here we are. We can see that this is completely eat up. Now the inner brakes, Keep in mind, folks, your rear brakes on your vehicle is only about 15 to 20% active compared to the front. The front of your vehicle is where most of your stopping power is. The rear is only like about 15 to 20%. It's more like about 80% on the front and 20% on the back. So you know what I'm talking about? So I have got, let me go get my new parts. These here, I don't think they need to be replaced, although I'm going to carefully examine them before that I slip them back on. Now I've got to put that, got to take me a clamp and push that brake caliper back in. So we're getting along just fine. We're doing great. It's getting really, really warm, but look at my hands. A DIY man, folks, he has dirty hands. I mean, he really gets dirty. In this particular job, that is. All right now, folks, we're moving right along. Taking my time because it's extremely humid. Now, I actually got these at Amazon. If I'd have bought these locally, I would have probably paid a whole lot more for them. Now, I have looked over this inner shoe here, this brake shoe. It is barely worn, so I don't have to replace it. I'm just going to slip this drum on. I took the old one off. Just line them up like that. Slip it on. That's simple. Now, next step, I've got to put back this unit right here. This piece right here fits right back just like this. So easy to put on. Just like that. Who told you that it was difficult to do this? It's just a matter of having done it before. Now I'm going to take these nuts out and I'm going to put the WD-40 to that. Make it a whole lot easier. I got both of these drums in the package. I got the brake cleaner and I've got the brake fluid, 2 drums, and of course, let me get these over here. A set of brake pads. I got those at Amazon. 2 drums, or excuse me, 2 rotors, set of brake pads for the rear, the brake fluid plus the brake cleaner. I got all of that for, I believe it was about $87. That's a pretty good deal. And I've also, well, I'll show you the shocks here in a few minutes. So let's get this back on. I got to get this done before it gets super hot. Because when it gets super hot, you can't do anything. All right, now let's get that started. Okay, now I've got that started. I need to go and get my clamp, and I got to push that caliper back because that will not go on there with new brakes. Got to get that caliper pushed back. All right, now, folks, as you can see, we have got this wheel complete. We are ready to move to the other side. Here's what my old pads look like. Now, I don't remember how many times I have put brakes on the back. I think maybe twice. This is maybe the second or third time, not sure. Don't remember. After all, this is an 07. An 07. But this, take a good look at this. That is the close-up look. See, that's what destroys your rotors, is when you let those get down to that metal. Now see, this one here is practically, well, I want to say at least maybe half or a little bit less worn, but you don't want to let that go that far. That's costly. So let's move to the other side. Okay, we're on the other side. We are taking the other side off. If you can probably spot this, I don't take any chances, folks, when I'm working on a truck like this. I've got both wheels off the ground at the same time, but I've got both tires under the back of it as well. Too many people get hurt needlessly by taking chances, and that's not a good thing. Just peck that thing a little bit there. It should pull off. Okay. Ouch. Wow. Incredible. Holy macaronis. Unbelievable. I think something really got wildly messed up here, but we'll find out what that really was. So let's get these off here. So we can get the drum off. Or rather, that's a rotor, it's not a drum, okay? So let me change my ratchet here. Those. A good set of tools is worth their weight in gold. Now, I should spray these down. See, just give those a little tiny peck when they're if they've never been broken. A little peck with a hammer, it's not going to hurt nothing. It just makes it easier on yourself. Another little peck, like that. See, you can learn a few little shortcuts. Just like that. Now, let me get some WD-40 spray on that. It'll make it a whole lot better. Right now, folks, I'm going to show you something here. I've got this wheel completely off. Now, this right here, if you can see this, I don't know if you can, but I hope you can. This is something I failed to mention to you. This is your parking brake. This is your emergency brake. That's what these shoes are. Now, those shoes are totally different than your pad. Now, this is your brake, the main brake on the rear. This does not brake. It's only for an emergency and for parking. So that's why, let me spray these down just to clean them a little bit. That'll make them a little bit less dusty. And see, that's why they're looking like brand new, is because they're parking brake, and nobody hardly ever uses those anymore, but they're there. And I wanted to make sure you knew that, because this is an Xterra, and they have got that parking brake, and that's a real good thing. I mean, these will probably never ever be replaced because they're very little usage. So let me get that other wheel. I'm sitting on a bucket. It's easy on your back. Let me get this out of the plastic. Have you noticed how things are so complicated to get out of things? That old tough plastic is awful. Now let's slide him on. There we are. Now we're ready for this. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. It's really, really, really nasty, so I'm going to do that before I stick it back on. All right, now, folks, we have got that wheel. Actually, we've got those brakes back on, and we're ready to put the tire back on. Now, over here, I'm pointing my finger. I have got to do something I've not done in a long time, and I'm talking about I cannot break those shocks. They are original, and I do not have the tools to break those things with. And I keep pointing my finger, and this has not happened to me in a long, long time, and all of the time that I've done DIY. But I have not got the proper tools to break that shock with. So I am going to have to take it to a friend of mine at a garage and let him put the shocks on for me. So let's get this wheel back on. Now these wheels are pretty hard to get on sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Okay. Gotta line them up first. They're pretty heavy. I think I gotta take that jack up just a tad. Yeah. Let me get that jack up. All right, now folks, we are putting this tire back on. Just finishing it up. All right, we're ready to go to the other side. And put the other wheel on. Got it. Okay, folks, we are finishing up with this. We're putting the left tire back on. Listen, folks, nobody said that this was easy. This is a man's job. And I'm talking about it is rough. Because this was the first time I had replaced these drums, and they didn't come off easy because they had rusted, and that's the norm. Oh, now here's the old parts. Take a look. Well, I got 3 pads. I lost one of them over there, but take a look at these things. How bad they were. I am ready now to let the jack down, put the fluid in, and I'm going to call it done. This has been a challenging job, but I've got it done. Of course, I told you I've got to take the shocks. I don't have the tools to do that with, but I will get a friend of mine. He's got a garage, and he'll fix that for me. He'll put the shocks on for me. It's been a big job to do this, but don't worry about it being big. Just do it. That's all it requires. Do it. And you can save some money. I have saved a lot of money by doing this myself. It's been hot and tiresome, but that's normal. I mean, that's life. You got to take the good with the bad and do it, no matter what it is or how hard it may be. So thanks for watching. Hey, listen, if you like this, give us a thumbs up. Yeah, give us one. And subscribe to the channel. And you have a blessed day.